Welcome back to the channel. I'm Nathan, and today we're going to be doing some distance tutorial tips and tricks. And if you want to improve your distance, then try these tips and we'll see if you can get some more distance. So first thing you want to really focus on is your footing and the timing of your footing when you go to throw. So you really want to just keep it on more of a straight line and not round your footing. So for example, you're going up to your shot, whatever foot your dominant foot is, I usually start with my non-dominant foot on my first step. So I'll walk up, plant here, cross over with the X step, and then as my toe is touching the ground, that's when I'm starting to reach back. So toe comes into the ground, and that's when you come through your throw. So that's the footing. You really want to work on timing and making sure it all lines up properly with the rest of your throw, and that helps get more distance on your throw. So right here, you want to have a little bit of gap difference between your feet. Your back foot, your front toe, you kind of want to have it lined up with your front foot, middle of your foot. So it's a little bit of a gap. That way you get more rotation coming through instead of being up here, like aligned. You don't have as much to really rotate those hips. Or if you're up here, you have even less room. So a little bit further back, lined up, gives you that extra rotation to help improve the power behind your throw. So once you have your footing like this, where you're slightly staggered, back foot is kind of aligned with the middle of your front foot, that's when you want to have, right when your toe is planting, it's when your full reach back is starting to occur. Well, as your foot is coming down, you're pulling through and you're driving with your elbow. You want to pull through here and make sure you're not, arms not up here, not too low, close to your body, but kind of like a little less than 45 degrees. Coming through, and you're driving with your elbow, creating a slingshot motion with your arm. So you're coming through and releasing out. On your release point, you're letting the disc rip out of your hands. You're not opening your hands when you're throwing, you're letting it rip out. So you also want to keep in mind with your left arm, as you're coming through, you're driving your left arm into your lower abdomen, lower stomach area. You're coming through and you're keeping that arm close to your body. And then obviously you don't have to keep it through when you release the disc. It's kind of awkward if you do that. You want to obviously have a follow through. So you want to come through and kind of push your left arm forward, giving you a natural body motion.
I think the most important step is timing with the reach back and the front plant. So I see that's just like, you lose all your power if you're too early planting, or if your shot looks crazy if you pull back and throw with the plant.
Yeah.
It's that timing that's the hardest part.
It's that millisecond.
Because you don't know it because you've done it so long. But me, I'm still trying to get the timing, and I know when I get it right because I don't have to throw hard to get the distance.
Yeah. So when you're trying to go for more distance, you don't want to really throw as hard as you can. You want to give it 75% power, 85% power if you're comfortable. If you're throwing as hard as you can, you're not going to be accurate, and it's going to not really work out for you. So you want to really work on timing with your arm at the full extension when your foot is planting. So that way it all comes in nice, and the less power you use and you have better timing, the further the disc will fly. It'll have more spin, and you'll see more distance coming out of your throws. So with your feet, you're coming through, doing your X step, and when you plant and you're throwing, you want to make sure you rotate on your heel, kind of like mid-foot heel, depending on what type of shot you're throwing. If you're throwing a hyzer shot, more kind of on your toe, so you get that forward, like over the feet with your upper body kind of throw, or flat shot on your heel, or if you're doing anhyzer, it's a little more dramatic on your heel. All right, we're throwing a cloud breaker, so it's a DD3. They fly about same as other DD3s, not much difference. I just prefer the cloud breaker runs personally, but this is a distance driver, 12 speed. It's like a destroyer if you want to reference Innova. It's a little low there. Throwing another cloud breaker. This is their newest run. It's a little less stable than most DD3s, or if you want to compare it to a destroyer, a little less stable, has a little bit more turn to it in the flight, gives you a little bit more distance. These are great for softer throwing arms.
All right, so we're dealing with tailwind right now, probably what, 10 miles per hour, 12? What would you throw with tailwind?
Something less stable.
If you want it straight as possible.
Something less stable.
Less stable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we mention that?
I mean, we just did.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know we were going.
Behind the camera.
Okay. Cloud breaker from their newest cloud breaker runs. That tailwind really keeps it straight on that understable disc, and that's what allows you to get more distance in a tailwind. Throwing a more understable disc allows it to get some turn out of it without fading too hard. Thrown here is a DDX. Discmania no longer produces these discs. I know the Paradigm is kind of their new disc compared to this. I believe it's the same numbers. It's I guess comparable to a turn maybe from Innova. It's got a little bit more turn to it initially, and a little less fade at the end than like a destroyer or a DD3 like I threw. All right, I'm going to be throwing my Cloud Breaker 2, another DD3. Obviously, I like throwing these. They go far for me. This one's going to be a little less stable than more Cloud Breaker or DD3 molds. It's kind of similar to the newest Cloud Breaker mold. It's got nice turn out of it once it's beat in. At first, it's a little more stable, but once it's beat in, solid turn. right down the middle. So this is that newer cloud breaker. U-Disc is saying 462 feet. That's about thrown on 75% power. I'm not giving it all, but it's dead straight from where I was throwing, and so it's very accurate, getting that accurate distance at that 75% power.
So that disc, if a new person or a new disc golfer threw it, are they going to get any turn out of it?
Not as much when it's fresh out the box, but after it's beat in for a little bit, it'll get some nice turn out of it. If you're looking for something with a little bit more turn, you want to go for like the Paradigm or the Enigma, or something a little less stable than a destroyer-like disc.
So what makes the disc turn initially?
It's the high-speed spin, or the high-speed initially out the hand. So that gives it the most spin, or has the most spin when it comes out the hand. And
what part of the form creates the spin?
The probably just all around, kind of just general of the whole throw. It's that release point. You're letting it rip out your hand, and you're creating kind of like a slingshot motion with your throw that allows the disc to rip out of your hand, giving it a lot of spin. So
okay. So practice.
Lots of practice. And then this is going to be my Cloud Breaker 2. Like I said, it's beat in a little bit, has a little bit more turn out of it, similar to that first Cloud Breaker. U-Disc is saying 472, about same power. This disc just has a little bit more turn out of it, giving it a longer flight. And it's one of my go-to distance drivers, especially in tailwind or even a headwind. I can throw it on a significant amount of hyzer, and it will want to flip up and ride and hold that turn and not dump out of that turn too fast into a roller or dump left, just a normal stock hyzer shot. And here we have my DDX. It's a 6 glide 12-speed disc, and this disc has a lot more turn than a destroyer or a DD3, giving it more time in the air as long as you throw it on that correct angle, which I'm throwing them at like a slight hyzer, giving them that flip up that allows them to get the full flex, full flight of the disc, and then coming back. And U-Disc is saying 492 on this, so I'd say this is pretty flat, so it's pretty accurate.
No, this is as flat as it gets. This is a soccer field, somewhat.
But yeah, so this disc gives me lots of distance, especially in tailwinds. I can really trust it so it doesn't turn over into a roller too fast, and really gets me that distance with that glide. And that low profile on it gives me an easy release, throwing it on that hyzer angle so it flips up and rides and then finishes.